Oregon is all in on the Pac-12. The Pac-12 presidents and chancellors are not concerned at all about the delay in getting a Pac-12 media deal done. And Fox Sports is still in the mix. Very interesting article coming out yesterday from John Canzano. We're covering it all here at episode 183 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. We're going to go through this article from John Canzano of yesterday. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of things here I disagree with, but we'll give it a fair shake. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comments section below the video. Canzano, timing is everything for the Pac-12 and Oregon Ducks. A few things I've learned from John Canzano. The newest voting member of the Pac-12 Conference CEO group was tossed into the fray just a couple weeks ago. I doubt she'll unpack. Jamie Moffett was appointed interim president at the University of Oregon on March 13th. She replaced Oregon's previous interim president, Patrick Phillips, who left that post after he didn't get the permanent job. John Carl Schultz, coming from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, John Carl Schultz will take over July 1st as the full-time president in Eugene. At that point, per an Oregon source, Moffett will return to a usual duty as the school's vice president and chief financial officer. Got all that? The Pac-12 conference continues to negotiate its media rights deal and explore expansion. I was told on Wednesday, John Canzano, I was told on Wednesday by a CEO group member that the board likes the deal that is taking shape. Likes the deal, but the conference presidents and chancellors don't seem to be in a hurry. We'll circle back to that in a second here. Multiple members of the CEO group have gone public in recent months. Oregon has been notably silent. I've chalked that up to the turnover in the administration in Eugene. Former President Michael Schill left for the same job at Northwestern University last August. Schill was an outspoken, experienced, stabilizing voice who served on the group's executive committee. Phillips was new to the role. Moffett is even newer. How will Oregon weigh its options? What matters most to the Ducks? Does Phil Knight get a vote? The university's trustees? Someone else? These are important questions. One member of the Pac-12 CEO group confirmed on Wednesday that Moffett has participated in recent board meetings and discussions. She'll cast the Oregon's official vote when it comes to an approving expansion or media rights, but only if that happens before July 1st. I reached out to Moffett on Wednesday for a comment. I also left a message with the public relations contact at the University of Oregon's president's office. Richie Hunter, vice president of communications, confirmed that Moffett is in control of Oregon's Pac-12 CEO group vote. Said Hunter in a statement to me, interim president Moffett holds all authority as president of the University of Oregon until coming President Schultz takes office. Last month, a source with knowledge told me that Oregon was way on board with the Pac-12. I have no reasons to believe anything has changed under interim president 2.0. The Ducks are chasing revenue like every other school in America, but also Oregon mostly just covets access to the college football playoff. It has that in the Pac-12. They also covet exposure. You got to give them exposure in this deal or you're going to lose them somehow, some way. The Big Ten, it has an extended invitation to Oregon. The Big 12, the Ducks do not appear at all interested in a lateral move. Again, getting to the football playoff is what matters most at Oregon. And of course that's important, but that's not what matters most at the University of Oregon. Of course, the money is important and exposure is important. University of Oregon, just like every university, wants to give their student athletes the grandest stage possible. and that includes the exposure element. Oregon, Oklahoma, and Texas did not move to the SEC because it was easier to get to the playoffs. UCLA and USC did not go to the Big Ten because it was easier to get to the playoffs. Oregon, the best pathway to get to the college football playoff is not their highest priority. I absolutely disagree with John Canzano on that point and many others in this article. I will continue. Nike continues to play the role of the great financial equalizer. The Nike founder has raised expectations and boosted his alma mater's profile with $1 billion investment. Few other things I've learned this week. The Pac-12 is working right now to manage and reframe the expectations on the timing of its media rights deal. Hold on a second. Let's go back. The Pac-12 is working right now to manage and reframe the expectations on the timing of its media rights deal? You mean for months, John Canzano has been reporting that the deal is going to come in 2 to 3 weeks from now. The deal is going to come from 2 to 3 weeks from now. We're right around the corner 2 to 3 weeks from now. Circle the March 21st date on the calendar. Dominoes are about to fall. Presidents are coming out. John Robbins, the president of Arizona, comes out in 2 different interviews and says all of our other presidents, they want to get this done. They want to get this deal done now. I'm willing to wait, but everyone else wants to get the deal done. And now we get an article that came out yesterday on April 5th saying the Pac-12 is working right now to manage and reframe the expectations on the timing of its media rights deal. If that is true, then the Pac-12 is absolutely 100% incompetent. They're going back now to reframe the expectations? I have a hard time believing this is true at all. Back to the article. The conference hasn't made a public comment on the matter and likely won't, but the tone of the conversations I'm having feels measured. The CEO group meets next week, but I'm skeptical the conference will vote to finalize its media rights deal this month. So the script has flipped, ladies and gentlemen. This is completely different than what Canzano has been saying for months when he was telling you that this information was accurate, that this information was real, and the 50%ers who were telling you that everything, the opposite was not real. And suddenly, the script has been flipped without even batting an eye. Going back to the article. The presidents and chancellors don't seem concerned about the delay. They continue to express solidarity. The holdup appears to be due mostly to the media partners that are new to live sports programming space, Apple, Amazon. So the presidents and chancellors don't seem concerned about delay, even though we had University President Arizona Robbins say the complete opposite. This came directly from a university president, by the way, who was in the room for these decisions and discussions. Back to the article. Some of the Pac-12 presidents and chancellors contributed to the increased public expectations by mentioning March and April media rights timelines during interviews in the last weeks. We also had athletic director Ray Anderson say the same thing because Arizona State, they want to see a deal get done. As one conference source told me on Wednesday, I realize we play a role in that. Pac-12 sources remain confident the conference will eclipse the annual $31.6 million media rights distribution the Big 12 negotiated for its members. I'm not sure that distribution benchmark matters as long as the Pac-12 lands in the range of that figure. But that's what I'm being told by those in the room, and I actually agree with John Canzano. I don't think that dollar figure has to be at $31.6 million for the Pac-12 schools to hold together, because we think the important part of this deal will be the exposure part. Back to the article. A Pac-12 source reminded me on Wednesday that the Big Ten Conference didn't finalize its new media rights agreement until last August, only 11 months before the expiration of its deal. The Pac-12's current media rights contract doesn't expire until July 1st, 2024. Keep that in mind while we wait. I will not keep that in mind. It's completely two different animals. The Big Ten delayed on its getting the deal done because they were expanding with USC and UCLA, which nobody out there in the West Coast, hardly anybody out in the West Coast, understood what was happening during the spring of 2022. That is why the Big Ten had delay on finally getting it done, because they were expanding and the pie was growing and the deal was going to be huge and they were going to get 3 OTAs on board. Completely two different animals. So I don't think that has absolutely nothing to do with what the Pac-12 is going through right now. Back to the article. ESPN remains the Pac-12's likely Tier 1 partner. We better hope so. But as Andrew Michon has said, they're miles and miles and millions of dollars apart from each other. Things are very cold right now between ESPN and Pac-12. John Canzano fails to mention that in this article. Back to the article. The Pac-12 network's content, Tier 2, feels destined for a streaming service. I wonder if long-term conference fans will mind that content landing on Apple and Amazon. You tell me. Currently, if I want to get the conference network, I have to use Sling. It's cumbersome. I'd welcome Apple and Amazon, but I may not be representative of the typical Pac-12 viewer. Well, I don't think Amazon has any interest. They want a top game. One of the top 2 games, they want it on a Friday night. And Apple, do they want just a piece of it, or will they want all of it? In the past, Amazon wants all of your content. MLS, they wanted all of it. Are they willing to just take a little bit of a slice of the Pac-12 content? I don't believe so. I'm not even sure if they're really in talks, to be honest with you, right now with the Pac-12. Back to the article. I continue to be told by a source with direct knowledge that Fox is definitely in the mix for the Pac-12 media rights. Definitely in the mix. We've had reporter after reporter after reporter, national college football reporters with their sources at Fox saying no. Fox and Pac-12 haven't talked for months. Our sources tell us the same exact thing. Again, I find this truly hard to believe, but here at Peek Around the Corner, we go outside of information silo. But man, everything is telling us that Fox is definitely not in the mix at this point. Back to the article. That is not likely to result in an A package. That would include a massive number of football games. But Fox is involved. FS1 needs to fill inventory. I wouldn't be surprised if Fox ends up with a B package. John Canzano, it wouldn't be surprised if Fox ends up with a B package. Wow. That includes a handful of regular season Pac-12 football games on FS1. I got to tell you, completely opposite of what we're hearing at Peek Around the Corner. Back to the article. Pac-12 expansion involves a pile of lawyers. This also feels like a contributing factor with the pace of things lately. Both San Diego State and SMU have had regular contact with the Pac-12 per multiple sources. Those schools have lawyers too. I can continue to view both San Diego State and SMU as viable expansion targets. The rest of the article you can read. We provide a link in the description box below the video. But I thought it was important to make sure we're getting all the information possible presented to you, the PATC community. But I got to give you my honest thoughts, because that's what you're here for. I'd hardly agree with anything in this article. I am sorry. But everything we know, what we believe to know from all of our sources say Fox is not in the mix. They haven't been for months. Could they come back in? Sure. But they're not in the mix. They're definitely, Canzano says they're definitely in the mix. They definitely are not at this point. We're just telling you what we believe to be true here at Peek Around the Corner. There are other parts of this article about chancellors and presidents not being concerned about delay. We also believe 100% that is not accurate. Arizona State money perch guy who's been nailing the story from the beginning, and I won't go through all that. You can go through the episodes and the live shows if you're just new to our channel. But he's been nailing the story from the beginning. And no, Arizona State is not comfortable with this delay. These schools are not comfortable with this delay. Arizona's President Robbins said it himself on multiple different interviews, multiple different dates, with multiple different people, with multiple different outlets saying we would be okay with a delay, but other presidents want action right now. So why are we getting the script being flipped at this point? Why are we being told all this? Why are we being told that the presidents and chancellors are okay with the delay? Why are we being told that they need to reframe the argument, their messaging, saying that we're okay with all this? We're okay with the delay. We're okay with waiting out new deals. I don't really have the answer for it. I find the whole thing, the whole article, very, very strange, very odd from a peek around the corner perception, from what we believe to know what's going on behind the scenes at the Pac-12. They are scrambling to get a deal done. They need to get a deal done sooner rather than later. And they are on an uphill climb to make sure they get enough exposure to get the deal that threads the needle to get all Pac-12 10 presidents on board to sign on the dotted line for the media rights deal and the grant of rights. I believe they're still in an uphill battle. I don't believe there is a deal taking shape that's making all the presidents happy. Maybe one or two of them, maybe three or four of them, but not all of them. In Oregon, they're not all in on the Pac-12 right now as we sit here on April 6th. That's not true either. From our perspective here at Peek Around the Corner. Give me your thoughts and comments in the comments section below the video. Let it rip. Either side, either way. Tell me how wrong I am. But this article, we had to talk about it because we need to talk about everything in college football, even the things that we do not agree with here at Peek Around the Corner. But I find this sudden reframing of the situation, of the messaging of the Pac-12 on April 6th, after we were told month after month after month, the deal is right around the corner. Don't you find that odd? Don't you find that strange? I find it kind of desperate. Hang with us here at Peek Around the Corner. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.